Good morning, Goats. It is Tuesday, April 15th, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Welcome to another video with Digital Goats Academy. I'm your host, Antoine Farrar, and this is our live analysis segment. Currently, I'm just looking at S&P 500 right now, indices across the board. So I think yesterday, well, yeah, it was yesterday. I don't know why I said I think yesterday. So yesterday, I was talking to my community, and everybody on YouTube will probably get this video today, and then this video you'll see, a day from now. But anyway, um, I was looking at price possibly creating a downtrend from this area. Now, this zone that I have previously marked, this yellow or tan, whatever color you want to say. This is consolidation for me. So the fact that price pushed up to this area. Now, this is consolidation from like the past. You know what I'm saying? Like it's it's relevant, but irrelevant at the same time. And what I mean is that I'm just really using this as a level of resistance or a level of support to analyze the market. And as you can see, S&P from last week shot up on the bull side, rejected this level. Now, I don't think that we're about to start seeing like major sells, but what I'm expecting is the market to try to correct and push down possibly to the top of this gap. That's one thing that I've been talking about because we did have a inverted head and shoulder that the market broke out of. And it did test down here, test these levels, but whenever I see wicks like this, I normally would like a candle to follow to kind of strengthen, you know what I'm saying, the foundation of the market in order for us to accurately say that, yes, this market is trending in this direction. We got the bull candle, so we got the break, you know what I'm saying? And to me, this was like a shallow retest in order to correct the market because what are we probably looking at the market to do right now? Probably range until it breaks out, you know what I'm saying? We're still in Q2. Nothing has really happened. The only major thing that has happened is the tariffs. So as you can see, the market has kind of slowed down since, the news of the tariffs that hit between China, between the US, other countries that have enacted tariffs against. I mean, I don't know what's going on with them, but you can see that in the market, because that's what we care about as traders. It's been pretty docile, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much accumulating orders, building equity, probably in order to push back up because that's what our expectation is that the market is going to push back up once we correct these, once we come back to these lower areas to correct the market and stuff, right? So like I said, nothing major has happened. It's 8:30, so we're into the New York session right now, which is good. So what we're really waiting for is for opening bell to kind of show its hand. Now, there was a lot of gaps that have been created within indices just in the past, pretty much since Sunday. Since Sunday, there's been a lot of gaps. So what I'm expecting is that because all those gaps were created, like from the previous market session last week, I'm thinking that the market is looking to collect its liquidity, not to mention what the technicals are showing us. So currently we are at resistance. You know what I'm saying? The market did push back up here from this previous zone that we've already marked off. So this was the trend that I was looking for. This was the first line that I drew. Market came a little bit higher, but rejected this consolidation area. And then this morning, you can see it pushed the bear candle, which is the 8-hour time frame. It pushed the bear candle with the wick down. Now, it hasn't fully fallen, but this is the information that I like to see, especially with like 25 minutes left on this 8-hour candle. Like if it closes bearish, that's giving me enough confirmation to say that, yeah, we're pushing down a little bit lower. Now 9:30 may be the reaction where it brings it down strong, because that's what I'm looking for. It brings it down strong, but then pushes up violently. So that's the only thing we have to prepare for. Is this market going to slowly try to this is what I was looking for last week, or when I said when I did my weekly review. So look, so we got this move here. My expectations is that the market was going to start creating higher highs. I mean, not higher highs, lower highs after creating this high. You know what I'm saying? So doing something to this effect. It's probably not going to be like that, obviously, but if you understand the narrative, this is what I'm thinking that the market is going to do. I think it's going to like consolidate downward in order to push up violently once we get back to our buy zone. Because again, with this big bull candle, we do need some type of information, some type of data in order to confirm our confluence that yes, we are truly buying. This isn't really good enough information to say that we want to buy from here. We do see that we're bullish, you know what I'm saying? We have a whole bullish engulfing. So is it gonna correct 100% of this candle, or is it gonna do a pullback that's like about, I don't know, 50%, 618? So we look at where our Fibonacci is in orientation to this candle, right? Now, where I want it to be, this is this is where I want it to be versus like where it might be. You know what I'm saying? So where I want it to be is the 786. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for the market to push all the way down here. And obviously, once we hit this wick territory, we'll have some rejection. I think the fake out would be that it may try to present a buy opportunity at the 50%, but still keep pushing down. Remember, this is our area. This is our previous level of resistance. And this is where the market respected initially, you know what I'm saying, where it started buying up from. So we have to predict that the market would probably respect this again if it came back to this area. So really 618 is where it might show like a potential fake out. But like I said, I do want it to at least to me, it has to touch this gap. You know what I'm saying? It has to want to at least make an attempt to fill this gap. And that's normally followed by the market creating a wick coming down here aggressively and then pushing down, and pushing up. You know what I'm saying? You've seen that. We've seen that in gaps over and over, or not even coming all the way down, just creating, like, for example, this area up here. This was a previous gap. You see the market broke down and then it did retest this gap. It retests this gap, but it didn't touch into it. So I want to see something identical to that, whether it stops below, like above it, or if it turns around like at the 618, because that's our previous data. So we have to acknowledge that the market will probably try to come down here and touch this and then push up if it is bullish from there. But again, like I said, my thought process is that we'll probably come down 786. Now everything is based off of like what the moves are today. So currently we are selling, but you can see that the market's consolidating within this time period. Let me see if a bull candle presented. Now, when I'm looking at, even though I'm looking at S&P, if you're trading like US 30 or the NASDAQ, I think this information is relevant to those two as well. You know what I'm saying? I am going to look at US 30, but I'm looking at S&P because to me, that was like the cleaner moves. And because of quote unquote uncertainty, the less aggressive pair to kind of analyze. But if we get our data for US 30, we'll definitely be looking for opportunities within the market. Actually, let's go to US 30 real quick. So you can see with US 30, I have this gap that I'm marked up. This was from Sunday. Yeah, this is from the opening of Sunday. You can see that it created that weird looking candle, and the market has basically been testing this candle. And again, I think it's going to push down away from this candle over here. Let me mark that in green. So whenever the market creates candles like these, I tend to highlight them in green. So I kind of know that that's kind of like a guide point for me personally, to kind of see where the market is breaking based off this candle off of Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So is the market staying higher than Sunday? Is the market staying lower than Sunday? Currently, it's higher than Sunday, but it hasn't been like, hasn't really broke because we have resistance over here. See what I'm saying? So we have resistance that it's been rejecting. You can see with these wicks. And to me, this looks like a selling move. Even though we're in consolidation, to me, this looks like a selling move with the possibility of the market trying to spike up here to retest this probably 100% and then push down all the way. Because to me, this is just like when I said, liquidity sweep yesterday within US 30, this happened Sunday night. Yeah, this happened Sunday night. Yeah, at 11 o'clock, yo. And that was just a red flag to me, you know what I'm saying, to annotate this, that this market may try to collect this information down here because it happened so fast that why wouldn't it try to push down a candle at least to this level, you know what I'm saying, in order to push the market back up. Now, this is purely technicals. So when the fundamentals come out, i.e. news, that could change the game, that can kind of change the narrative. But what I can tell you from me trading, like the technicals tell you the information ahead of time. Fundamentals is just kind of like the trigger to push it in a direction that it should be going anyway. You understand what I'm saying? So like I said, we have a gap right here. So you can see that US 30 is looking like S&P, you know what I'm saying? It's looking like S&P from what I just showed you. So if we're looking at this as like the previous high, this area is a gap, and I expect it, and it did touch this. This is information that I have probably from like a year ago. So it did respect this gap, touch it, and then push up, right? So again, my thought process is that we need to create some type of foundation. We need to create support. So if we are going to buy up from these levels, I need it to probably touch this gap again. If not, this is that major gap that was produced last week, or yeah, last week. There was that major gap that was produced last week on Friday. No, yeah, no, last Sunday. Yeah, so yeah, Sunday. Last Sunday. So what I'm thinking is that the fact that if we're coming down here to this gap, this purple zone right here, we're probably coming down to this blue zone. You know what I'm saying? And then this would be probably potentially our buy area when the market starts showing its hand. It'll probably consolidate for a long time, but again, I do think that we're right where we need to be. You know what I'm saying? I think that now the market has exhausted on the selling side. And I think that bulls are in the market right now. You know what I'm saying? The only thing is that where are we going to buy from? And that's why I'm expecting like the market to correct itself, because I don't think it's just going to straight buy from here. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the market's just going to straight get aggressively bullish to, feed people's accounts. But I do think that we are going to get that overall correction that we need in order to bring up earnings, you know what I'm saying? Because you can even see this stuff reflected in the stock market. The stock market is starting to turn over. So you should expect in the foreign exchange side that certain currencies are probably going to start turning over. And indices especially are going to start turning over. Now, obviously, this is related to the New York Stock Exchange for me because I'm in America, but it may be relevant for everybody else and stuff across the world that's trading also. So that's what I'm looking at. Again, it hasn't been nothing really exciting, pushed up, and we're just kind of waiting to see how the market responds in orientation of this candle. It did push up a little bit high, but we are currently at a previous level of support that the market did break through. So because it broke it, we do have to treat it as resistance until it shows us otherwise. So this is what I was expecting. We have this indicator up here right now within US 30. So this is my EMA, and this is on the hour time frame. So I would probably want it to touch that area and respect pretty much this doji right here, maybe come back up to the bottom of that doji and then push down from there. So to me, this is my sell area. That's what I'm waiting for within this market to get a better position for a sell area. But I think we're pushing down before we go up, and then we'll have our buy zone. So not as fancy as we like it to be, but as long as we're patient and analyze, this is where you want to analyze the market. You don't want it to be moving all crazy and where you can't fucking understand it, or it's confusing, or it's moving so fast that you can't even capture what's going on. You want this data to be showing you in slow motion what it seems like, you know what I'm saying? So it could present its hand and give you the best possible entry. Like I said, I haven't looked at news, but again, I'm fairly more on the technical side. I do have Bloomberg playing in my background on my TV right now. I don't think they've said anything enlightening. And there's not any guest on there that I've seen between this week that has said anything impactful. Again, it's just kind of been like la-di-da. So Yeah, we'll just have to wait till what the market shows us. You know what I'm saying? Again, trading isn't always like exciting. It's exciting when you're making the money, but when you're waiting on the moves to show its hand, it's kind of like drab. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what we're just waiting for. We're just waiting for 9 a.m., not 9:30 really opening bell to show us his hand, give us an idea on what we're trying to do. But like I said, if we're looking at the technicals, this is a previous level of support. The support is respecting it as resistance. You know what I'm saying? We could just see it from these technicals right here. You know, these technicals are selling opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what the Hakanashi candle says right now. Okay, sellers are in the market, at least on the hour time frame. You got some momentum right here based off of this flat top. Remember, I talked about, if you've seen my other videos about Hakanashi candles, I talked about flat top means momentum, flat bottom means momentum. You know, now we're in consolidation, but look at this in comparison. You had bullish candle, and that was momentum, and it did push up. And then it started pushing bear candle. Then it went bullish, but this is really consolidation. So in this turn, we have consolidation, some strength right here. So based off of this candle, the next candle should be a bear candle. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it'll pull back a little bit, but it should end the next hour candle should end as a bear candle. You know what I'm saying? Now, once 9 a.m. happens, that's like, I mean, not 9 a.m. Once 9:30 happens, that could be a little bit different, but that's what I'm expecting. Based off of the Hakanashi candles, like we should start seeing bearish activity within the market so that we can finally get to these lower buy zones that we're looking for. And then, hopefully the trade gods will bless us, you know what I'm saying, with our patience. But that's all I got for today. One thing that I do want to highlight is that the dollar, I'm not sure if I mentioned that at the beginning of this call. But if you are tuning into this video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you comment on anything that you would like to see. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Definitely helps my channel grow. Definitely excited for everybody that's been showing up and returning users. So I appreciate everybody's commitment to Digital Goats Academy. But the dollar, it's been refusing to break this 99 area, which is good signs to me because this was a previous level of support that we had marked up like on the weekly time frame. So we are in quote unquote a mild recession right now. Now we are looking at the weekly, since I do have it on Hakanashi. You can see how aggressively bearish it is. But let me see. Let's scale in. Well, you can see the momentum's dying off right here. So the momentum's dying off, especially right here. Momentum's dying off. So yes, the dollar has been aggressively bearish. And on the weekly, it is showing signs of bear activity, but you can see it's tapering off because now all these dojis within the market, this is indecision. You know what I'm saying? This is confusion. So there could be a volatility spike where the dollar gets extremely bullish. That's what I'm predicting. Matter of fact, if that happens, let's look at GU real quick. GU's momentum is high to the upside. Yeah, consolidation within the hour. This the right chart that I have? Did GU go higher? Yeah. Oh, I went all the way back up to that imbalanced candle. What is that? Consolidation right there? Price love going to his dojis. So you see this doji right here? Like what day is this? Wednesday, October 3rd, 2024. Man, I gotta there's something going on where that price comes back to these levels at like October or November. I've seen that quite often, especially like with the dollar too. It almost makes sense. I mean, we already said that GU was overall bullish, but we were expecting it to come down. I don't know if it's going to test this high, which it could, which means that the dollar would get extremely bearish if that were to happen. But I don't think so. I think we're at the point of exhaustion, and I think this is where it's going to start to create, because if we go back, you can see that this is resistance across the board. There's a previous level of resistance over here. And I know you may not think that that's relevant to this information over here, but it is. I mean, to be honest, if this was what I think it is, which I don't think it is, but we'll see. I don't know. I doubt it, but I guess we'll kind of see, you know what I'm saying, what the market shows us today. But I am looking at that as being a level of resistance that the market should want to respect since it's already doing it right now. So I think that as long as the dollar starts giving us, bullish momentum, you may have a selling opportunity for GBP USD as well. So Euro GBP, I do want to talk about that before we close this call because I did mention that on my video yesterday. So if my group was paying attention, they could have been able to take advantage of this. I don't trade this pair, but I am starting to look at it, especially for my community. Now, I did say that once we get down to these levels, there may be buy opportunities. We haven't hit that zone yet, or an area that I would like to respect this as support. So I think we could still come down a little bit more, but I think that you might have a reaction where the market may try to slightly buy up in order to come back to these levels. Now, we'll have to see because the momentum is probably aggressively to the bear side. Now, that's what I was looking at overall for Euro GBP. You know what I'm saying? It was bullish. It did come from a big bull area, but we are pretty high in the market. Let's back up. And that's what I mean. That if you go out to the monthly time frame, we are pretty high in the market, but this is a let me see. Oh yeah. This is a bull candle that, you know what I'm saying, it's carrying some momentum behind it. So I definitely am looking for Euro GBP to continue being bullish, but I think we're going to push down to these lower levels before we break this resistance. And somewhere like lower down here, because like I said, with this happening on the monthly time frame, as long as this candle maintains this month, the next month will probably be bullish as well. So you can see right now, 8-hour time frame, momentum is strong to the downside currently. Yep, 4-hour too. And it's still, even the hour is kind of strong. It's not necessarily like strong right here, but the fact that they're all still selling candles, you know what I'm saying? You see how it slightly gave you bull candles right here that were dojis and stuff to consolidate and then continue pushing down. This thing is so heavy to the downside, we may come all the way back down to support. So you can see the EMA is flowing with it. The only thing is it going to push a bull candle to respect this? Let's see how far that thing goes up. I don't even know if it'll even pull back. This thing is so aggressively to the downside. This thing may go all the way back down to support. We'll have to see. I doubt it. Yeah, I doubt it. It might come back to this high down here. It might come close to support, but it's probably going to retest this imbalance candle over here. So I do think that Euro GBP is still bearish. You just have to find your position when the market opens up at like 9:30. But yeah, I mean it's London. It's still London. Probably have a reaction. Still London. Checking S&P. So when I'm looking at the market on the New York session, after I get my candles, I turn it to a line chart. Because these candles can start to manipulate you by what they're showing you. So it's like when you turn it to a line chart, you can kind of see the information better based off of what you've already been looking at. You know what I'm saying? This is after I've done my analysis. So I draw up my confluence within the market, and then I just let it show me its hand. And sometimes I'm seeing the wrong things like any other trader. But I think, turning it into a line chart, once you establish like how a line chart is formed, like you can see that this was a double bottom that pushed up. So we're currently in consolidation, but you can see there's really no support structure. So even though the market just pushed up right here, more than likely it's coming to touch this EMA and then continue pushing down from there until it creates like a valley to continue pushing the market up. See what I'm saying? So that's all I have for everyone today, traders. Like I said, there's not really much going on within the market. This is just how the trading day goes. I'm sure tomorrow will definitely be a lot more intense with more data being flooded into the market to create these trends. But that's what I'm looking for right now. Until 9:30 really shows us its hand, I'm looking at sells within this position. But if 9:30 starts to push aggressively bullish, I'll have to reanalyze. But I'm not thinking that. If anything, 9:30 could just be a liquidity sweep. You know what I'm saying? So obviously just be patient and wait for the market to show you its hand. So appreciate everybody for watching this video. I will see everybody on the next video with Digital Goatz Academy.